Okay, welcome to week 7, Eat Clean, Get Lean. I'm very happy to be able to be presenting tonight. Let me go ahead and open up my chat box and welcome everybody online tonight. Welcome, everyone. I'm flying solo tonight. Susan is out, but she'll be back in a little bit. But I'm fully prepared. I'm just kind of killing time for another 30 seconds or so because I see a couple of people are still coming on. And I'm going to crack a can of seltzer. So if you need something to drink, go get it. It was a nice day to take a walk today. I got outside for a little bit. The sun was shining. It was above freezing because I saw a lot of puddles. So I wanted to make a comment. We have a family member, Susan's sister, who's been following the program. And I have to tell you, the real big difference I see in her and her weight loss and her ability to tone and define her body really is coming from the walking. She's walking every day. Some days an hour, some days a little less, some days a little more. And she has a path that she follows. And even with the cold weather, she's been trying to get out and walk, trying to stay away from the ice and so forth. And I think it's been helping to lower her stress levels a whole lot more. And again, stress is one of the things that we spoke of. Last week, I gave everybody a video on stress management. And the topic of the video was how to eliminate stress without pharmaceuticals and alcohol. I talked a lot about keeping your blood sugar balanced, keeping your heck in check, getting out and walking, using cacao to increase serotonin and dopamine levels, making sure you're getting sleep. And again, you also got the video of the sleep strips that I put on a couple of weeks ago. I know a lot of us got woken up at 2:15 in the morning Monday night by an Amber Alert. And unfortunately, I have to get up at 4:30 on Tuesday mornings in order to be at work by 5 o'clock because I have a 5:15 client. And I never got back to sleep. So last night, Tuesday night, I needed to use my sleep strips in a real bad way, and they worked amazingly well. All right, so let's start from the beginning. I think everyone who's going to get on is on. And of course, like always, Susan will be sure to send out a replay of tonight's week 7, Eat Clean, Get Lean. And we're going to talk about discipline and accountability. And I'm also going to end with a little bit of digestion, some of my own stories. Because again, remember guys, I'm doing this right along with you. You hear me dope? It's because I'm drinking a nice can of Canada Dry pomegranate cherry sparkling seltzer. No sugar, no sweetener, actually. It's very, very good. Unsweetened, 0 calories, 0 sodium. But I'm going to talk a little bit about digestion. I'm going to talk about my experiences this week as well and some of the things that I've been able to accomplish over the last couple of months. So let's talk a little bit about discipline and accountability. Well, step 1 is getting your heck in check. Now remember, you are not undisciplined. You are not unaccountable. You are not weak. You're not bad. And you're certainly not stupid. If you are not in the process of accomplishing, one of the main reasons is your heck is not in check and your neurotransmitters are dysfunctional. Well, does everybody feel better now? Now that I kind of told everyone what a wonderful person they are and how much you can really accomplish? There, we found the etiology, the root cause of your less than optimal health and wellness. Or for those people who are not in the process of accomplishing their goals right now, it's time to go back and find out where we're missing out or where we've misstepped or what is going on. Now, most people one-on-one, when I'm working with them in the privacy of a private training suite, they become very accountable to what they're doing. and they say, well, I'm really trying, but on the weekends I've been, having a couple glasses of wine with dinner on Friday night and Saturday night and Sunday, and that is not part of our first 4 weeks. We knew that. And, they say, wow, go out with my husband to dinner every weekend and look at that menu, and, I'm making choices. What you're chronically doing is you're throwing your heck out of check. You're eating sugar, bread, pasta, and that could be causing you to not be hitting your goals. Now, for those of us out there that have been following the program for the last 6 weeks and are hitting their goals, and you're weighing yourself and you're measuring your chest and your waist and your circumference measurements of your hip, and you're looking at your percent body fat and you're starting to see change, don't change anything. If it's working, let's just keep going in the right direction. Now, some of us, excuse me, some of us are not losing weight, but our clothes fit differently. We're down a dress size, we're down a pant size. Our circumference measurements are changing. That's fine. You're in the process of changing your body. That's why we use a body shape calculator to determine how well we're doing. It's not just about the scale. By the way, we all have, just so you know, we have a brand new scale and mask on. I finally got one of those Detecto doctor scales, the one you stand on and you slide the weight. So if you want to come in and get weight on that, that's fine. I'm sitting here drinking my seltzer. So let's move on. So if you're not in the process of accomplishing, what should you do? Well, let's talk a little bit about your mood. Guys, I just ate something before I came on. So let me just drink this down real quick and get rid of this frog I got in my throat. Excuse me. I know everyone's going, oh, Mike, you're clearing your throat in my ears. It's terrible. Okay, let's talk a little bit about mood. Mood going out of balance could be an indicator of chronic stress, sleep deprivation, lack of exercise, or any number of life changes. We can change can we change our mood? Sure, we can. And we have even seen these diet and lifestyle changes conquer clinical depression and anxiety when drugs couldn't touch it. Now, an example of that is I have some clients who are on Paxil or Zoloft or other antidepressants. There was a Duke study that was done back in 2004. And let me read a little synopsis of the article. The article provided a review of evidence supporting exercise as an effective treatment of depression in older adults. Depression is prevalent among older adults and is associated with significant morbidity, increased risk of mortality, and economic burden. Although effective treatments for depression exist, such as antidepressant medication, cognitive behavioral therapy, the disorder remains inadequately treated for many older individuals. Recently, the use of exercise as a treatment for depression has received increased attention. Results of these studies suggest that exercise leads to a reduction in depressive symptoms when compared to weightless social contact controls and antidepressant medication. Now, the last thing, I'll read it again. Results of these studies suggest that exercise leads to a reduction in depressive symptoms when compared to antidepressant medication. It all goes back to what the root cause is. Just like having hypertension and taking a hypertension medication doesn't cure you of hypertension. It masks the symptoms. Medication for people who have a depression just masks the symptoms. It still exists. But if we can change the physiology, excuse me, if we could change your physiology, change your level of activity, change your diet, change your sleep, all of a sudden we start to change behavior. Now, what does this have to do with weight loss? I'm saying, okay, this is great, Mike, but what does this have to do with weight loss? Well, remember we talked about heck in check. If your heck's not in check and you're hungry and you have cravings and you're fatigued, guess what you're not going to want to do? You're not going to want to exercise. So you can't separate the physical, the mental, the emotional, and the spiritual. We're all one being. So we need to take all that into consideration. So people want to talk to me about exercise. They want to talk to me about their diet. They want to talk to, we can't compartmentalize everything. We have to look at everything as a whole. So I wanted to bring in a little bit of this. Now, food, exercise, and sleep definitely impact your mood. Exercise is the #1 way. Movement is a great antidepressant, probably the best one we have. This is where the benefits of traditional aerobic-based exercise shine. They're very good at elevating your mood. Walking gives many of those same benefits without the negative heck and check benefits. Now, we talked a whole lot about walking a couple of weeks ago. Matter of fact, I did a good chunk of a section, I think of week 3, was all about walking and the benefits of walking, okay? So if I sound like a broken record on why you should be walking and why I brought up Susan's sister as an example of her success, walking is something we definitely want to do. Other ways to improve your mood. Well, eating frequently can help. Low blood sugar is associated with anxiety and depression, but we don't want you to have low blood sugar. What happens when you have low blood sugar is your heck goes out of check, right? Make sure you get adequate sleep. Sleep deprivation is known to make us anxious, depressed, and crabby. I love that word, crabby. Okay, we did a whole talk on sleep just a couple weeks ago. Don't completely cut out starch if you have mood issues. Going too low can cause problems. So what do I tell people? Hey, listen, if you're having trouble sleeping, if you're having trouble with your mood, your attitude, make sure you have starch in your evening meal. It'll really help. Don't eat too much starch or sugar either. Find the right balance for you. So I spoke to someone earlier today, and one of their issues was they said they ate dinner around 7 o'clock, and around 9 o'clock they were looking for something else to eat. And I asked, is that hunger or is it cravings? And well, it turned out it was cravings. So we have some strategies for that, and I'll bring that up. There is something called branched chain amino acids. I'll send out another video on that tonight. Excuse me, guys. I'm really sorry. Branched chain amino acids. I talked a little bit about this in the past. Everyone should know about it by now. What it does, it's a protein, but it's a protein that breaks down very quickly and easily and converts to glucose to feed your brain and nervous system. So you will not sacrifice valuable body proteins. What are valuable body proteins? Things like hormones, enzymes, muscle mass, your antibodies, and so forth. When your blood sugar starts to drop, the first protein that usually gets broken down is something called dehydrogenase. Dehydrogenase is your fat-burning enzyme. So you certainly don't want to break that down. You start breaking down dehydrogenase, it makes it very difficult to burn stored body fat. So branched chain amino acids is something we can use. I also have something called appetite chews at my office from ID Life. They're excellent. They use something called Avantra Z in them, which is a citrus extract. And I use it during the day because there's times where I'm training clients 5-6 hours straight and I don't have time to get a meal. So that I don't feel like my mood is going out, because I certainly don't want my mood to get bad and then my clients won't come back, right? So I use that. And I also keep branched chain amino acid or hydrate, which is something very similar to that, in one of those big shaker bottles, and I sip that while I'm training, and helps to keep me up and excited, just like I am right now. Getting in enough protein stabilizes blood sugar and acts as the building blocks for all your brain chemicals. Well, I'm kind of touch base on that. Cacao and coffee can be great ways to help you get your focus and get you relaxed and lift depression, if it works for you. Specifically, the cacao is because it helps to increase serotonin and dopamine levels in your brain. Herbal teas containing passion flower, lemon balm, chamomile, hops, valerian, and others can act like a weak Xanax and also help stop anxiety. There you go. We use a lot of the yogi teas. For example, yogi bedtime tea is really good. There's others that help to calm you down a little bit. And there's others that help with digestion, and there's others that energize you. So go to your health food store, or go, better yet, go to KeenanMedicalFitness.com/store and go onto the Amazon store and you can order it there. Let's talk a little bit about digestion, because that certainly can affect your ability to keep your heck in check and keep your brain chemistry balanced, because again, you know, it all starts with digestion. So whether it's the case at the onset or develops later, you might notice you're getting some digestive upset, which could reveal itself with gas, bloating, or an upset stomach. So your heck could be in check and you could be burning fat, but it could still happen. And that means you're usually seeing weight gain to follow. So we certainly don't want that to occur. That's because the GI tract is probably the most important of our metabolic organs. It's a major center of the nervous system, the hormonal system, and the immune system. It is a window into your global metabolic function. So if your digestion is off or starts becoming off, then that's an indication of trouble ahead, which will eventually, you'll see with the out of check heck. How did I write that? That's interesting. If this is the case, start by assessing if maybe you've developed a food allergy or food sensitivity. Okay, so some typical food sensitivities include processed food, grains, gluten, and dairy. Remember the first 4 weeks, we talked about what we wanted to pull out of your diet and then what you could start to add back in. So let's go a little deeper with that. So if this is you, try the simple digestive restorative program. We've talked a little bit about this in the past. This entails reverting back to a 3-2-1 program, which is the eat less, exercise less model, right? 3 meals a day, 2 protein shakes, 1 whole food meal, or 3 meals a day, 1 protein shake, 1 meal that is predominantly protein, fiber, and water. So what would be an example of that? A nice, big, thick salad with some chopped up chicken or tuna or turkey or beef, and you know, a lot of water. And of course, the one being your whole food meal in the evening. Everybody knows what that plate looks like. The little bit of carbohydrate, big thing of salad, and greens and protein, lean proteins. Then adding a hypoallergenic diet to it, which means eliminate grains and corn, except for brown rice and quinoa, dairy, get rid of the nightshades, the potato, tomato, eggplant, all peppers, beans and legumes, including peanuts, eggs, soy, any of the foods you feel you may be reacting to, and refined sugars, food chemicals, and food additives. Remember, when we're looking at the weight regulating mechanism in the brain, and we talked about that a couple of weeks ago, it's affected by 4 things: exercise, stress, balancing your blood sugar, and food chemicals and food additives. Okay, I'm giving you a little review lesson here. Well, right here with the refined sugar, the food chemicals, and food additives, we take those out. It certainly will help the weight regulating mechanism, and will certainly help you to continue to lose stored body fat. And a lot of times, the reason people gain weight is not so much because they're gaining fat, but they're eating too many pro-inflammatory compounds like wheat and dairy and gluten and sugar. Okay, so we're looking at fixing digestion so that your body will stop retaining water, and the scale will start to change, your body circumference will start to change, and you start to feel better and help you keep your heck in check. Now, if I look at my diet right now, and I'm looking up at this screen here, just like you are, there's no grains, no corn. I have completely cut corn out of my diet, mostly for the fact that most of the corn that's out there is genetically modified. But I just don't enjoy grains and corn. I don't eat quinoa. I can't eat quinoa. I'm allergic to it. I do eat brown rice. I don't have any dairy in my diet. And when I do add it in, like the other day, I had a little taste of ice cream. I feel it the next day. The same thing with alcohol. I feel it the next day. I don't feel good. I don't have any trouble with the nightshades. Never did. I really don't include beans, legumes in my diet. Eggs I eat, but I eat them free range, non-grain fed. That's an important thing. If you're having trouble with eggs, I would suggest going and getting the more expensive organic cage-free free-range eggs, because if the chickens are being fed a grain, corn, and soy diet, and you eat either the flesh of the chicken or the eggs of the chicken, guess what? You're ingesting them too. So people could say to me, when I was a kid, I never had trouble with eggs. And now all of a sudden I eat eggs and it makes me feel bad. Well, the eggs, you didn't change, the eggs changed. Most of us on the line now are over 50. Okay, most of us can remember getting milk delivered to the house in a quart glass bottle. Things have changed a lot in the last 50 years, right? So same thing with the diet of the chickens and consequently the eggs. So you have to be mindful of these things. Okay, that's why I'm constantly reminding people, it's not just what you eat, it's how the food is raised, whether it's coming out of the ground as a plant or if it's a domesticated animal. So that means you're doing the 3-2-1 and eating animal protein, vegetables except for nightshades, fruits, nuts, seeds except for peanuts. You take all the other foods out of your diet for 4 weeks. Then you challenge each one every 4 days to see if any reactions come up. So what I'm saying here is go back and put the eggs back in your diet. Just that one thing for 4 days. Any problems, cut it out. If it feels good, then include it and bring in the next one. But like I said, there's certain foods that I've cut out of my diet, especially soy and corn and grains, probably being the big three, that I will not put back in my diet, because as soon as I do, I feel terrible. So I just don't eat them. If you have a reaction, eliminate that food indefinitely. Like I said, if you don't have a reaction, you may add that food back into your diet. Now, you may not have a digestion issue, but if you start gaining weight and your pants don't fit, then you're having a reaction. So don't be misled. Just because you feel good, if you're moving further and further away from your goal, well, that's not good either. And I say this is super easy to do when following a 3-2-1 approach, because instead of worrying about managing too many meals, you only have to worry about the last meal, because your first 2 meals are protein shakes. And we already know that those aren't a problem for most of us, or any of us, I hope. If it was a problem, I certainly hope I would have heard about it by now from somebody. I'm always on Facebook after these phone calls. Because the other 2 meals will be hypoallergenic because you're using a dairy-free. Now, what I mean by dairy-free is more, not so much whey, but lactose and casein-free or an egg-free protein powder. We know that we've been advocating the ID Life because it is a whey protein, but it's lactose-free and casein-free, and it has no sugar in it. It's sweetened with stevia. So, and it also has chia seed in it, which is really a great source of fiber. Exercise recovery. Okay, let's talk a little bit about that. In addition to keeping your eye on your internal system and other forces impacting your program, you need to continue to assess your workouts and how they make you feel. Your ability to perform well during exercise and recover adequately from it is a great way to assess your metabolic balance. So if you start to notice that the workouts that used to be easier start becoming more difficult, this may signal you are moving into the eat less, exercise more trap. This is often a first warning sign in athletes who suffer from overtraining. So hopefully that's not the case. Hopefully that we're continuing to either eat less, exercise less, or eat more, exercise more, like we've spoken about. And again, I'd love to hear people's feedback on the switch from the eat less, exercise less to the eat more, exercise more. And again, last week I gave you some different scenarios. Some people are doing eat less, exercise less during the week, and then eat more, exercise more on the weekends when they have more free time, or vice versa. They're saying, Mike, I have plenty of time to work out during the week, So I'm eating more and exercising more during the week. And on the weekends, I have so many family obligations, and we're moving around, we're traveling, we're going out. So I do more of an eat less, exercise less on the weekends. If you're fueling your body correctly, you should notice improvements in your level of fitness. If you're not seeing this, then be aware that something is off. Also, soreness, aches, and pains as a result of exercise can help you assess things as well. It is normal and in fact beneficial to have some soreness as a result of weight training workouts. What is not normal is to feel sore constantly. If you're noticing that you are sore much past a few days, this may be a sign of inadequate recovery, or your food is not matching your exercise program. This is often an issue with nutrition, such as too few calories, not enough carbohydrates, or inadequate protein intake. Soreness lasting several days is more frequent in beginners who have done very little exercise and are now becoming active. But once you're accustomed to the active exercise, once you are active, exercise soreness should not be continuous and chronic and should resolve within a few days. Okay, I just wanted, before I go into my conclusion, I want to give you a few things. I started up with you guys, as everyone knows, right in the beginning of January, and right now we're probably just a few days away from March. So, you know, we're in week 7. I've been doing this for about 8 weeks now, okay? I got through the holidays. I did a lot of what most of you did during the holidays, you know, probably about the week of Christmas. I probably did a little less exercise. As a matter of fact, I walked a lot because we were in Washington, D.C. You might remember me talking about that. But I wasn't doing weight training, and we were going out, and I was eating, and I was enjoying some of the things my mom makes and all that kind of stuff, right? But as soon as January started, I got right back on it. My heck has been in check. I'm losing weight. I'm losing inches. My clothes fit me better and all that. Now, I've been weight training for a long, long time. And as you probably have heard me mention on these calls a few times, I've had 3 knee surgeries, one being a major knee surgery, an ACL reconstruction from a torn ligament in my knee. I also have a chronic pain in my right shoulder. And those 2 things have kept me from lifting heavy weights. So I've been trying to do a little different type of training, go a little lighter, doing more metabolic training, moving quickly, and so forth. But probably about 2-3 weeks ago, I just said, you know, this isn't, I'm not getting that same burn. I'm not getting tired. So I increased the weight 10 pounds. Now, just to give you relative numbers, on a flat bench press, I was doing 60-pound dumbbells in each hand. You know, that everything's relative, because that may seem like, God, that's a lot of weight. But compared to where I was 20, 30 years ago, it's not even close to what I was lifting. So I went from 60 pounds to 70 pounds. And I did that. And about a week goes by, and I'm just still not feeling fatigued. You know, I'm doing 12, 15 reps. And what have we've always talked about, you know, trying to find a weight you can do between 8 and 12 repetitions to try to move you towards temporary muscle failure or fatigue. I wasn't getting tired. So I went to 80 pounds. Okay. This is in the space of 2 months I've done this. And that's what I lifted with today. Today I probably did my best workout I've done in years, quite frankly. And the big difference, big difference, is I am being very strict with my food. I've been doing my walking. I've been working on staying hydrated. I've been working on my sleep. And you're also going to know that I also take ID Life Nutrition, which is nutrition for me, meaning vitamins, minerals, and supplements based on the assessment that I've spoken about. Now, I'm going to talk a lot more about this next week. I'm just kind of giving you a little lead in. But I'm looking at what has significantly changed in the last 2 months, coming up on 3 months now. The number one thing is that I'm on certain vitamins, minerals, anti-inflammatory supplements, that are all spelled out for me in my particular nutrition program with the ID Life Nutrition. So next week, I'm going to give everybody a link to take a free assessment. I want you to take that assessment. I want you to see what comes up. In that assessment, you're going to put things like any chronic conditions you have, any illnesses you have, past injuries, medications you're on, a little bit about your diet, a little bit about your lifestyle, what season we're in. We're in coming from winter going into spring. A lot of us are not getting any sunshine, so we could be vitamin D deficient. So I just wanted to share that with you and tell you that at 52, I'm actually lifting more weight and exercising more aggressively than I did just the last year or the year before. So I'm not getting weaker, I'm getting stronger. I'm not getting older, I'm getting younger. I'm losing stored body fat, I'm feeling really good, and I'm pain-free. So the reason I'm saying that is that you can make change at any time. I have one client I'm thinking of right now. She's 77 years old. And if you saw her exercise and you saw how strong she was compared to the day I met her, you'd be shocked. Okay, she's very physically strong, very, very active, and very capable. And she's 20-some years older than me. Okay, I'm just impressed every time I train her. So if you feel that you've made some changes, but you're not where you want to be yet, continue to keep moving in the right direction. Things get better if you give your body the right nutrition, if you give it enough sleep, if you give it enough water, if you move and you walk. You're going to, 6 months from now, you won't believe where you are if you just continue to do all the right things. Okay, I'm telling you, it's happening. It's happening for me. I'd love you to come in and watch me work out one day. I think you'd be shocked at some of the things that I've been able to pull off. I'm shocked. I'm sitting here talking to you, and I'm shocked at some of the things that I've been able to accomplish in the last couple of weeks. But I'm telling you, the nutrition is really the linchpin to all of this. It's just tremendous. So again, I'll be on Facebook after this call tonight if anybody has any questions. But in our conclusion for tonight, remember, you're not undisciplined, you're not lazy, you're not stupid, you're not unaccountable. If you're suffering and you're not where you want to be, you're suffering from keeping your heck out of check. You got to get back in check. You got to focus on your exercise, your sleep-wake cycles, your brain chemistry needs to be rebalanced. I hope these suggestions help tonight. Let me get out of this, go back to here, see if there's any questions that come up. Again, Susan usually monitors my questions. So there's nothing in my chat box, which is good. And I know I had some nice people on the call with me tonight. I'm very excited about that. I'm going on Facebook after this call. So please go on if you have any questions. We could have a little discussion. If anybody has a question I can answer before I get off here, I'd be more than happy to do it. Just go to your chat box and type it in. It would be nice if I enabled the chat box, wouldn't it? Here you go. There you go. See, this is where Susan helps me out because she stays on top of it. Chat box now works. All right, very good. Well, again, there's a 30-second delay, so I'm going to wait 30 seconds. If I don't see anything come up, I'm just going to jump into Facebook, and you guys can hammer me with questions. And if you ever want to have a little private conversation, we certainly can do that in Facebook too. But I don't see anything coming up on my screen, guys. So I'm going to wish everybody a happy night. If I see you tomorrow or Friday, if you're coming in to train, that'd be wonderful. I will help anyone in any way I possibly can to accomplish his or her goals. And again, if I don't know the answer, I have tremendous ammunition with friends like Jade and Jill Tita. You know, the resources are available to me, so I certainly want to share them and help you as well. Okay, I'm going to sign off. Everybody have a great night. I'll be on Facebook tonight till about 9 o'clock, and then I'm going to go to sleep because my first client's at 5:15 tomorrow morning. All right, take care. Have a good night, everybody. Bye-bye.